Sick, we're live. I think we're good. Hang on. The mic still seems a little bit high, but that's right. We shall persevere. Sup, shredders? My name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to an SP live streams, the $6 one's number 11. Number 11. Hopefully you're well. I got a bit of a frog in my throat. I don't think I'm unwell, but just I've been having this throat thing that I'm needing to get. I'm going to be getting a scan for next week. If we switch over to here, just real quick, just whilst we're here. Hello, Jacob. How you doing? Hopefully you're well today. The queue isn't open yet, but that's besides the point. Just letting you know, because sometimes people are like, "Oh, is the queue open?" There we go. It's open now. Everything's good. Yeah. Hopefully you're well, Jacob. Hopefully live streaming you good. I just want to let everyone know that I think I'm finally going to be getting my nose fixed. So, after a lot of deliberation and a lot of different specialists and doctors, it has been found that I have a deviated septum. And because I have health insurance and this is not a pre-existing condition, I'm going to be able to get my nose fixed. And I don't know when this is. I'm getting a CT scan this week, so that'll let me know whether or not I do have a deviated septum. What that'll mean is that I'll be able to finally have a less nasally tone to my voice. I will be able to breathe through my nose for the first time in a literal decade. I will be able to sleep on my back. I am very excited for this. So I will probably sound different once that operation is done. And I'm looking forward to be able to do things like learning how to sing. Because I'll finally be able to make the most of that. In addition to the nose thing, I also will be I'm taking some medicine for my throat because I've had throat inflammation due to stomach issues like acid reflux. And it's definitely that. So basically, I need to take Gaviscon for 6 months. And if I do that, I will be able to have a normal, healthy throat and nose, and life will be good. And I have to go get speech therapy lessons to learn some vocal exercises. But I figure that's also a good opportunity to learn how to sing as well. So there are some positive things that are occurring, and I suppose that is worth mentioning primarily because it relates to the videos and stuff, you know. So that's good. Usually we start with music news. We have someone outside with a motorcycle, and they are revving it a lot because they are annoying, and that's just what that is. I know that the captions aren't still totally like great to read. Like that's difficult to read, isn't it? Like with all the white and black and stuff, and I apologize for that. In most situations, I think the captions work. I think it's just when you've got this situation here. FKA Twigs drops out of Coachella, cancels more North American tour dates amid visa issues. Fear. Priscilla Presley wins round in elder abuse lawsuit against ex-associates. Judas Priest's Richie Faulkner struggles to play sometimes because of brain damage. That's a bit of a wild one. That's a rough one. Let's just check that out. So if I go to orders here, I think I received it as a request then. I did from Jacob. Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate that. I'm just going to go and check that out now. Just forgive me whilst I move some of these windows around because some of them are very little. There we go. So, Jacob, thank you for your request. We're going to get into that now. I also had a look at a Reddit post, which went and said stuff about like... The Reddit post was talking about... See, I'm not sure whether if I go to talk to him about the motorcycle, I don't really have any leverage in this situation. If I go outside and I tell him to stop, he could either stop or he could just do a lot more of it. So I'm not really sure what to do in this situation. It's tricky. But yeah, just a pro tip. If you have a motorcycle and you're incessantly revving its engine outside someone's house, even with double glazing, it's still very, very annoying. So yeah. Anyways, we're looking at Jacob's request. Sup, Socrates? How are you going? Hopefully you're having a good day today. Jay Sean, it looks all good on the outside. There we are. So this is Jacob. Let's get this loaded up and let's get into it, eh? Listen to some music. It'll be good. Yeah, no. Cool. Let's go. Let's do it. Thank you for this, Jacob. And the piano is so somber, isn't it? Really? Let me fix that. Why is there no sound? Oh, that's wild. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to be cautious about that. So recently OBS has started resetting the inputs and outputs for my audio devices. And that's not good. That's not good for it to do. Thank you for telling me about that, Jacob. We'll just go back from the start now that the motorcycle for now appears to have stopped as well. Should be able to hear it now. Let me know if there's any issues. Oh, the fullness of the tone now is gorgeous. Really pleasant harmonies. That occasional falsetto as well on the top is really pretty. Oh, key solo. Nice.
像不错，其实也还好，别演了，别骗了，只是懒得再寻找。看起来好像不错，其实也还好，是谁演了，谁倦了，最熟悉的房客都没再倒垃圾。
Oh,
谁变了？
because it's not just a really fantastic vocal performance, it's the instrumental backing behind it that is really stellar, I think. Really interesting extended jazzy chord at the end as well there. Thank you for that, Jacob. That was Jason. It all looks good on the outside. Now, Jacob here says, the song is about how lovers slowly lose that spark due to every tedium, and how on the outside things look normal, but inside things are just mundane. A lovely reminder for couples to get back to basics. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I can hear that within the song. This is so called love, the English line in there. So we know what it's about, thanks to Jacob's explanation. One of the things I appreciated about this track was the vocal performance itself. Now, the singing, they're clearly very comfortable on a microphone. They're comfortable within a head and chest voice. The little melodic tails, the transfers between notes, the legato, everything was very eloquent and it was exquisite in the way it was delivered. And the layering of the vocals and the harmonies as well were fantastic. The key parts there, including the solo section near the end there, that was wonderfully phrased. They're developing and becoming more and more elaborate as time went on in a way that never became too big for the track. Was incredible. I appreciate the color, the choice of chords within those harmonies there, the extensions with some of those components there. It's just a really stellar effort on behalf of everyone involved to make a really cohesive track whilst adding a sense of, again, tonal sophistication, with the use of stuff outside of the traditional triads. They're trying to, I mean, the keys there, the actual piano lines there with the interesting, like that arpeggio at the end, sort of ascending, which is wonderful there. We clearly had the fundamentals of music theory and composition down to an advanced level. And we played around with expectations with different progressions and directions there as well. In that interlude section there, we had different ideas per part. Like the production is taken for granted at the level that this musician is at, that they are tremendous. Wow, is this changing really, really quickly? What's going on? It seems like it's more responsive than usual, but I'm not sure. Maybe they've changed the way that they do things in order to make it more efficient. Have they done that? They have done that. It looks like it's better today. Anyways, moving on. I think that what I appreciate finally is the actual tightness of that instrumental performance, knowing how to composite those different, because if we go back just really quickly before we move on, it's like the use of the double bass there or the electric bass there on the low end there, rolling around the modes and scales there, reinforcing those notes in a very sort of classy way. The dynamic range of the kit with the different ghost notes and kick and snare and cymbal patterns there with the ride parts, very elegant. The breathiness and the fresh air and like the glamour of it as well, even though things are, as I say, mundane. Yeah, I think as a closing comment, I agree with you there, Jacob. I find the delivery there to be very good. I've got no complaints about this track whatsoever. It's a fantastic effort on their part. His other songs that brought a more on K-pop aesthetic didn't quite work for me. Fair. It's tricky to try and find a balance. But I'm really glad. I'm really happy with what we heard today, and I'm thankful to Jacob for your request. It's great to hear. Have we listened to Jay Sean before? I think we might have, but I'm not sure. But I enjoyed my time with it. Very cool, though. So that was cool. That was a good start to proceedings. We're back on the going for another new week streak after last week. Last week was just bad. I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to be a downer. But things are. So I'll tell you the story. So at the moment, my partner and I are looking for a house. And at the moment, I'll show you the house actually. I don't think I can get in trouble for this. So the moment we're looking for this. So you'll see there, this house that they're coming up with, it's just been built and it doesn't have a picture. Now you'll see here that the estimate for the house based on this price range is $825,000. It's a 200 square meter house. So, it's a big square house, but the reason that it's big is because we need a lot of room for everything, including the business and stuff like that. And it's on about 300 square meters of land. So, it's not a cheap house. This is probably the equivalent of around 550K USD. However, we were going to offer above that because we had been quoted an amount higher than 825 and we wanted to put an offer forward. And the real estate agents were like, hey, you should offer between $800,000 and $1 million. That's what the people want. And so we thought, oh, okay, that's cool. Let's just do that then. However, we had to go in for a multi-offer, and the multi-offer is telling us, hey, there's another person wanting to place a bid. So there were two parties. We put in the bigger bid at 900K. And that's not like a flex or anything like that. Remember, it's about like 550, 600K USD. It's just that's just what we have to do to get a house. That's just what we have to do to get a house. And that's just the price we have to enter at in order to get a place where we live. However, when we negotiated with them, because they accepted our offer initially of 900, they came back and they said that they thought it was worth $1 million. And so we thought, okay, well, we said no because we did not want to pay $1 million for a house. And so, no, we didn't want to do that. And so they were like, okay, well, they want $1 million. And so they'd accepted the offer of 900K, but then they wanted $1 million. We asked them specifically what they wanted because in New Zealand, in most situations, they are not straightforward with what they want. They rely on people guessing how much the house costs in order to figure out what to pay. And they had received lower than up to 900. And then they wanted above $1 million. And the way that we found this out, that we had our offer declined because this agent had said to us that they'd get back to us after we spoke to them on the phone, is that the next day they decided to place this house on the market for $1.149 million. So this is a house on 300 square meters of land. Sup, Donald G. Pimp? How you doing? Welcome to the live stream. So this is a house on 300 square meters of land, and they have gone from wanting 900,000 to $1 million to $1.145 million. It is the only house in this part of town where they have tried to do this. The entire suburbs around it, up until the hill area, there is nothing like it. Now, I mean, to be fair, like I'm not doxing myself here because I haven't given my address away. Because like we don't have this house at this point in time. But yeah, we basically they never told us. And this is just what it is. Like, this isn't me complaining about my life and woe is me. This is just me discussing the journey we're having in because it's quite an interesting situation. They went and relisted it for $250,000 above our offer the day after we spoke about it when they wanted 900, after telling us they'd get back to us. So we're actually potentially looking into our options in regards to laying a formal complaint to the real estate association, because our perspective is that they have violated the conditions of their own multi-offer agreement and saying that they would need to formally decline our offer in order to be able to tell us that and in order to be able to create a new multi-offer situation. Our view is that they have decided to try and make the price exorbitant to see if they can justify $1 million. However, they're not even doing price by negotiation because they are simply asking for 1.149. So we're not sure what they're doing. Andreas says, sup Andreas, by the way. With the new Trump tariffs, I think it's best to secure home financing ASAP with fixed rates as long as possible. Yeah, I would love to. My partner and I would love to buy a house. I'm not going to put a video about it on the channel. I want to talk about the journey we've had, but I also realized that it wouldn't be appropriate for the channel. But we wanted to buy a house initially, and we realized whilst we were trying to sort the paperwork for it, that it was a monolithic clad house. Now, in New Zealand, I'm not sure if you guys have like monolithic clad homes where you live, but in New Zealand, there were these architects, and they decided that these captions. Yeah, these captions bugged for a moment. But we had these architects in the 80s and 90s who were building these kind of wacky houses that didn't have a cavity system. And they leaked. They would literally put plaster on top of untreated timber that would rot. And so we had a leaky house crisis in the mid-2000s that kind of crippled the property market to an extent here in New Zealand. I'm just keeping an eye out on stuff. And what happened is that we didn't know it was monolithic until that point, that we were going to place an offer. And then we found out because of the building report. Now, our landlord had mentioned that it was monolithic, but hadn't mentioned that, for example, anyone buying monolithic in New Zealand is automatically going to want to reduce the amount they're paying by about $100,000 to $150,000 because of the fact that that's the cost to reclad a house in New Zealand, because there's a massive industry that is dedicated to recladding these broken homes if they are not already torn down. So for us, we found out that it was monolithic. We were told the risks. At this point, we were said that there had never been any issues with anything until we realized, looking through the property files, that the house was bought as is where is because it had been crippled by the Christchurch earthquake, and the person who owned it previously had died in a motorcycle accident, and it was sold at a mortgagee auction for like $500,000 or like less than that. Probably less than that. I think it was about $400,000 because it was just mainly for the land. And what I'm trying to communicate is that in New Zealand, as per a lot of other countries, I assume, you've just got to be really careful with real estate. So if any of you are watching this, if you're from New Zealand, or if you're thinking of moving to New Zealand with the world the way it is, not that New Zealand at the moment, without getting political, New Zealand's very big on the whole pro-American thing with the libertarian stuff that's going on with like the ACT Party and National and stuff like that. I won't get into that here because this isn't the place for it and it's not appropriate. I'm trying to keep things chill. But if you are looking to get into real estate in New Zealand, just be careful, because you can't even really trust anyone involved apart from your own lawyer. People say that lawyers are awful, but our lawyer felt so bad for us after that first house because they tried to mitigate the fact that we did invasive testing with that monolithic house to check that there wasn't actually any rot, and there was rot. So the person who was selling us that keep trying to tell us that it wasn't that bad and everything like that. And now they are privately selling the property at like below the $800,000 they wanted for it, even though they knew there was a monolithic home. It's just, they're all a bunch of criminals in real estate sector. I feel like there are perverse incentives to behave in certain ways when you're relying on people gambling in these situations. I think that there have been real estate agents that I have met that are reasonably honest and that have just said they will accept the price. I think part of that is it just, there are some real estate agents I met that have been great. It's a kind of a tricky situation where the ones we've gotten closest to buying a house from, because there have been several houses that we've been looking to buy, and I'm avoiding talking about the money aspect of it beyond this point. It's just the ones I've dealt with, they've just not necessarily been completely straightforward or forthwith about stuff, and it's just, we would just really appreciate if we could just have a price that they want and we just give them the money for it, I think that would make things a lot better. I feel like people would be more interested in engaging with the market if there was just a price that in New Zealand that people wanted to pay for stuff and that people would accept. But that's basically it. So TLDR, that's how I'm going. Life, it's like I think that things are good. How are you guys? Hopefully you guys are having a great day. Yeah. It's just that like my partner and I won't mention her name because she's a very private person. My partner and I, we good to hear that you're doing well, Theo. And I agree, Jacob. My partner and I, we can't figure out why they went 150 above a mil. Like, I get if they went to $1,050,000, right? If you can afford $1,050,000, a mil, 50 is kind of chump change at that point, especially if you've got a sizable deposit, especially if you're moving from another part of the country where houses are more expensive. I just don't know why they've chosen that much of an exorbitant amount. Because if they wanted a mil and now they're asking for 1.149, it's just a bit weird. Again, and I will get into yours in a moment, Theo. I'm going to sort of wrap it up on my end, but I just think they would have maybe I don't even know if they want to sell it at this point. I don't even know what they want to do. I just don't know if they're necessarily thinking that well. I think they might be dealing with people who are finding it difficult. The relationship might be a bit strained. I don't know. Just people wanting money. Anyways, let's continue. Who else do we have here? We have Dr. Theo. Thank you, Dr. Theo. And we have Jacob Good as well. Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate that. I've just found out that, Jacob, you put another one through. I apologize. I saw the one, but I don't see the two. So we've got Jacob, and then we've got Dr. Theo. Cool. However, I feel like the plus side of all this is that I now feel very comfortable reading property documents. You know, you get very good at being able to sort of read those and understanding it. You know, you get to a point where you kind of get there before some of the professionals do. And that sounds a bit arrogant. I don't mean it like that. It's more that that's what's literally happened. I asked a real estate agent if the garage in front of the house she was with was a double garage and if it was insulated, and she just couldn't tell me even though she walked past it. So I don't know, man. Anyways, Dr. Jacob, let's do yours. It's a graduation. And there's a bit of a story to this one, which we'll have a quick read through. Theater mode. In Rap of China 2016, the team performance of Graduation is remembered for its imbalance. Brown opened with poor enunciation, earning mockery for his Arabic Mandarin mumbling. Titty followed with a simplistic one-word flow. Then PG1 delivered a show-stopping verse, widely hailed as one of the greatest in the program's 8-year history. Man. That's crazy, dude. I look forward to it. Let's go. Thank you, Jacob.
Yeah. What's up, baby? La, 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 la. Hey, 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 hey. Come on, come on, come on.
Just real quick. So there are no album requests. Yeah, so I don't do album requests. That would just take too long. It's just one song at a time. So it's one song per request. That means that if we have a busy day, we don't just have like one person with like 6 in a row and then the person with the next. 加入 quiz 不提我感觉逼了耶我觉得逼了耶你觉得逼了耶他觉得逼了耶我们都逼了耶我觉得逼了耶你觉得逼了耶 Yeah, I say put your hands up 如果你逼了耶真的他自己那些 enemy 全部紧张的夸自己喝着 Hennessy 笑对他们的 jealousy 早就甩了他们气焰力如今他不会再介意只会怪自己没实力未来不了一般的分析不被需要那相关性的位置看他们背后在嘲笑的最后被面到了承诺的淡定的 face 成为案例被他们当风向标看齐问我年纪我回答他我一直就气有点他们对我冷眼相看认为我没搞头如今我狂的像个利本在你头上爆口在傲人的整齐不断飙升的人气 I love the dynamic I don't need any proof Hey, do what I do 面对他们的妒忌当作我的礼物暴雨之时才无来自墙必要的征兆看着出去的人伤可见我变得更
Dick，航班不要订太早，想要凹个造型，所以害我又迟到。我盯着空气扛，经济舱座位太小，我人生地不熟，就怕半夜睡不着。我想要每场演出台下你们陪我唱副歌，我庆幸身边有群兄弟维持个祝贺，也感谢我的赞助商一箱箱给我寄，有了帮歌迷让我做音乐更有底气。我偶尔去舞会，在家就困了睡，这生活太美好，感动得掉眼泪。Baby I feel alright, baby I feel alright， 在录音室醒来 ，Baby I feel alright。逐渐变成了万人敌，能力越大越讨人嫌，想在我头上坏人气，那我天生就没有好人缘，受到压榨，构造下话，暗箱操作仇恨加大，把爱都给我，没人能够让我拔下誓言，没话不说透，差不多就过完这生命的行尸走肉，能力不够，成绩如旧，绞尽脑汁没无头的 flow， 你不看好我的秀，你的震撼你的 soul 和那些只说不做的爱 so。我快要歇斯底里，坚持有什么意义？像猜不透的谜语，用尽了钱和积蓄，他们都想走比满脑子里只有公益。这圈子没有兄弟，没人会懂你，只会拿到东西。我一深深的满足，有精力就敢出。这头 S1 和红花会给他们我的满足感，让你再不敢说。让他们都知道今天晚上到底谁对。其实从第一天我来到这个比赛，我问自己为什么，真的有点奇怪。麦克风在手上，特别自在，但是不知道什么理由，我要离开。每一轮坚持真的不容易，很感谢嘻哈给我一帮新兄弟，要双胞胎，说错还要顺发音。你们要知道，你的压力也是我压力。可能你觉得我是前辈，我不们一样，在这个舞台我是水生，真的一样。请所有人给我掌声 ，Yeah yeah。Today is our graduation day， yeah。我发了新专辑，我觉得毕了业。我用中文唱 rap， 我觉得毕了业。我吃了炒面，我觉得毕了业。加入了 Chris Hoodie， 我觉得毕了业。我觉得毕了业，你觉得毕了业？我觉得毕了业，我们都毕了业。我觉得毕了业，你觉得毕了业 ？I say put your hands up， 如果你毕了业。
That's cool. I dig it. I dig it a lot. I think that was fantastic. They've each got a different style, right? And you could hear them distinctly. And I appreciate the fact that just because the first thing I appreciated is that they managed to sort of infuse those different styles, I think, really neatly. Even if there is not a consensus on the overall, like even if the quality isn't necessarily as consistent throughout, it's more of a sort of a themselves celebrating their own styles, their own sort of pathway forward. And in a way that I feel is ultimately very positive. I couldn't understand the language, but the words sounded like they came through clearly for the most part. I know that the brands apparently open with poor enunciation. I couldn't grade it if I wanted to. I'm not as familiar as I need to. I think we mentioned as well that MCG, despite his legendary status, ended up with a weak verse due to his limited Mandarin sounding offbeat. I'm just reading the notes that Jacob left. I still feel like it was a classy performance with a general, really sound awareness of the flow required in order to deliver stuff with a great sense of attitude, distinct expressions between the musicians involved, and it was overall a captivating performance. And I just feel like, again, it'll be like kind of bonus points if you understood the total context of the track outside of the occasional English parts, which I appreciate because I do not speak the language. In addition to the actual flow, the performance of the rapping itself, I think it's just the clarity of the beat behind it there. It's relatively minimalist. It allows a lot of space for the musicians to do what they need to do on top. I mean, if we just quickly... You have that kind of rolling portamento bass line, which is a direct contrast to more percussive staccato elements of the rapped verses there. The trappish kind of drums there, sort of short and sweet as well. They're kind of bopping into the mix without trying to compete, whilst adding a sense of groove and flow to it. And this position here, which I think is MCG, if I'm not... No, PG1. Despite, I might be confused about... Yeah, it literally says PG1 on the screen at this point. Yeah, PG1 on the screen, never mind. So PG1 here, having absolutely nothing around them, I think, is also kind of fantastic because it adds a sense of gravity to it, like importance. Like, hey, this person is having their specific moment here. You really need to pay attention and listen closely to this. It's less of a nod your head and feel and vibe it out moment. It's more just kind of sit there and sort of absorb it. And... I just love the bells like kind of tolling for there in the background, almost like this is a graduation, but it's a graduation with like kind of edge to it. there's like a spookiness with like the keys and synths in the background as well. It's eliciting sort of like an outer body, sort of like ethereal experience. Like this is graduation to something otherworldly. The production quality is also tight. Ultimately, just a really fantastic performance, and I appreciate you, Jacob, putting this forward. I always feel like I'm missing out when I listen to stuff and I don't necessarily understand the language, which is, again, like why I appreciate the bits of English, but I nonetheless appreciate the musicality of it, you know. And I think that is a universal thing. So thank you for that, Jacob. That was cool, man. What have we got next? We have got a track from Dr. Theo. Baby, you feel all right? Good to hear that, Donald G. Donut G. Pump shit. G. Pump. Donut G. Pump. Donut G. Pump. That's a tricky one. Sup, Zach? Hopefully you're all right. Hopefully you've been taking care of yourself. And thank you for submitting Katana is Key. I'm going to check through that in a moment. Dr. Theo with their track. Thank you. Oh, guys, honestly, like I try not to like look or sound as miserable as I get the impression I come across in some of these videos. And I know that day I was sad, but I'm sorry if I concerned anyone. It's not because I'm trying to get attention. It's just, I just felt like shit that day. But I also felt like if I didn't make a live stream, it would be like, oh, he's just bailing again, you know? I don't want to do that. I want to actually commit to these weekly live streams, you know what I mean? Glad you like the name Donut G Pump, though. Wish I had thought about that. Would have him added Complextro with that name. Sick. Dr. Theo. Yeah, exactly, Jacob. It was fantastic. That the innate sort of metronome that they have going on there, to be able to have that sense of like rhythmic consistency there is an incredibly positive thing for sure. So this is Theo's track. Oh no, not Theo's track. Oh, it is Dr. Theo's track. No, never mind. I'm having a moment. Excuse me. Having a moment. This is Midnight by Caravan Palace. Did I thank Dr. Theo? I will now. Now we'll get into this. If anything, I think giving him his own moment without anything else was the biggest compliment they could have provided him, because I understood how solid they are. But let's go, Dr. Theo.
It's midnight.
Oh. Is that a sleepy sounding saxophone?
Why is everybody always picking on me?
The samples are fantastic. It's kind of surreal sounding, isn't it? And the little subtle variations and builds there. And the way it just rises like that. So I think this was maybe trying to imitate the feeling, because this is Midnight by Caravan Palace, Dr. Theo's choice here. That sax is like oceanic. Yeah, I could get behind that. I could get behind it being oceanic. It almost seems like we're trying to mirror the to's and fro's, the waves of feelings and emotions at that time of night. Maybe, I'm not sure. I mean, if we go to different components of it. Part of what works really well here are all the individual instrumental components there, like the really kind of breathy, moody saxophone, with the filtering to make it sound very, very kind of like dusty, like it's a nighttime, almost like a dreamscape, with the sparkling, twinkling elements like the stars in the night sky up top. But it's also the sound design with like things sort of surrounding you in the stereo field and the headphones as well as in the speakers, like the way that we go backwards and forwards, those rises that we had later on, you know, moving things up, and it's just really part of it. I think they're first of all trying to establish an aesthetic within it that is like sort of thinking on these things. Like if you look at the lyrics, why is everyone always picking on me? That is the line. Yeah, how would you describe it? Because we have the kind of breathiness and the kind of texture of the saxophones with those more sort of like contemporary electronic elements like the kicks, the synth pads, the drums, etc. I just think they're simply trying to create their own sort of like understanding of what it'd be like in that midnight environment there. That world they've created was trying to put interesting sounds together. I mean, like there's great use of sort of sub layers and with those little hi-hat parts in the low end as well. They're the way they kind of click and integrate in the background, creating sort of a sense of dimensionality with the actual mix and mastering, the production of it, which is kind of cool. It's more like, yeah, no, that's it. I feel like I'm going to sort of either repeat things I've said already or go on a tangent if I speak too much about it. It's like not a concept which is trying to sort of hold you by the hand or walk you through it. I get the feeling that this album is maybe a collection of different concepts modeled with these different sort of, yeah, it's just kind of a very creative direction to go on with it. And it's almost like we have this robustness with the main theme where no matter what we throw at it instrumentally in terms of the perceived loudness of it, the dynamic range of it, the actual, like the notes with this, like we don't have too much adjustment with the bass line throughout, do we? We kind of have one or two main ideas, but it's the magic of how things kind of go up and down, the life it has to the track there, the sort of different direction it takes with the different instrumental layers and combinations that makes it special.
Midnight.
I mean, like with the occasional midnight, the kind of like ghostliness and sort of dreamscape with the reverb towers that inspires. Yeah, no, it's effectively, even though it's not a through composed piece, it does kind of feel like one. Because of the way it's not necessarily trying to lead you somewhere. It's more sort of like letting you just absorb it. And I kind of dig that. The production quality is fantastic. I appreciate the way the different parts are layered. And just the actual, like, the fact that it's not too squeezed as well is really good. It makes me more curious than anything else. But just really cool EQing decisions again with the saxophone and stuff as well. Cool. So thank you very much for that, Dr. Theo. Yeah, fantastic. I would want to sort of like have a listen to that one again. I feel like there's a lot of replay value in that one. I feel like more than anything, that's definitely a that's a compliment if nothing else. So that's Midnight. It's just the one where they say, "Why is everybody always picking on me?" I just want to capture that just before we go.
Why is everybody always picking on me?
Yeah, why is everybody always picking on me? I was just trying to place it, that's all. Because like it's a different vocal sample. I was just trying to figure out how it connected to the midnight part. But that inspires curiosity. that inspires curiosity, and that's fantastic. So that's success more than anything. But I feel like I've said a lot of really nice things about this track that I meant. Thank you, Theo. I appreciate that. We got Katana and Protector. Let's do it. Katana and Protector, the next track on the list. Master Chain, our latest track. I think we've done something kind of unique technically. Can't wait for you to check it out. Master Chain from Hell, but it was worth it. But it's not over because she's... Oh, right. I get it. We're going on with the donut-y pump. The donut-y pump. What a world we live in at the moment. It's crazy world we live in at the moment, eh? Craziness. There we are. So this is from Katana and Protector. Let's get you thanked for that. Yeah. Cool. And that track is titled... Very wide. It is very wide, actually. I'll give you that, man. There we are. Get the art up here. Cool, cool. Oh, yeah, no, this stereo field, that soundscape is effective. Ah, great plot twist. The modal use there signals a sense of curiosity. Interesting phasing effect on the kit as well. And just the bass focus. I mean, the chord note groove as well, man. It's just dope. The chord... Cool. Fantastic reintroduction to their work. It's been a while since we listened to it, but that was Katana and Protector, their original track I assumed to be Ignite the Night Hardcore Hard Trance original edit. So what do we think this track is about? I think it is about simply making the most of the night. It's a track that surrounds you in the headphones. I think one of the things I appreciate is, as mentioned, it is the very wide mix and mastering, use of the stereo field there, allowing it to kind of go right around like this. It's not something you do find often. A lot of the times there is this innate kind of focus on having the center field covered, whilst having little bits of kind of like color and alliteration on the sides here. But it's more like here, the total focus is of kind of blanketing it. And I think that that's a unique approach, and it makes it sound bigger. And when you have filters or adjustments of the frequency spectrum on certain parts there, it's a piece where it does sort of like take you by surprise with how affecting that is, because you really do feel like you're going on a ride throughout the entire thing. And it's just, I suppose another thing I appreciate about this, not just the stereo width, but it's actually the general studio production of this song there. That the way that we're not only covering the fundamentals of EQing sort of the free spectrum, but also the leveling and the clarity on textures of the different instruments within the piece. It's knowing not only how to produce music and how to get the stories we want within it and the chord progressions and the bass lines and different drum parts and everything like that. It's knowing how to get them to sound in a way that is just really fresh and commercial grade without needing to artificially push the high end to a point where it's repugnant or abrasive, whilst having the low end handled. And when I listen to a Katana and Protector track at this point, I know that I'm in safe hands. There are some musicians that I review on a semi-regular basis where I hear them and it's like, yeah, no, I know that if I listen to more of this, we're good. And that's the beauty and the challenge of electronic music production, is that if you do have your master chain sorted, if you do have your signal buses and your kind of presets and everything like that, like not presets for instruments, I mean for the literal kind of, this is how I do the drums, this is how I do the bass lines, etc. You can transfer that, but you just have to get to that point in the first place, and that's the hard part. Katana, as Key said, I did a sort of interesting thing here where the drop is from the lead as the sub bass is the first and 3 notes, and then 2 notes almost not there, but it lifts the theme. I think music needs to be like that. I think that it's going to be really productive for us to try and do that as much as possible. I feel like that's how we stand out. It's about taking the things that we might assume to be things we need to do and either subverting expectations in a way that is still positive, or improving upon them, or connecting and combining, or kind of like, it's that kind of stuff which pushes the industry forward. And I love it. And I'm not saying this because I feel the need to be nice. I hear this and I think this was a really fun time. There were lots of twists and turns finally structurally here with this piece where you never quite knew where you were going next. There was a tonal textural consistency with a lot of these parts. With the different melodies and key signatures, we explored stuff outside of the major or minor scales. We had some interesting, or not necessarily chromatics, or maybe some modal parts there, but if we can compare different bits, there are some instruments that are repeated, but it never feels like too much of the same. And I like that we have these fundamental core components like these oscillating basses, the chord note groove on the kick, etc., stuff like that. But we decorate with a lot of different variations of the sub layers, and we allow ourselves space. There are quiet points, loud points, use of dynamic range, which is part of why the previous tracks work so well. Midnight, it's just a different direction creatively and intentionally, but very, very good. Thank you to Katana and Protector with their track Ignite. Thank you for the request. I appreciate that. It's great to check it out, more of it. Also tried not to be lazy with the outro. I kind of hate outros. They're just boring, so I like to make it so it sort of feels like it's live mixing. Hell yeah. Why not? Why not? Why not do it differently? Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. That was cool. So what have we got next? We've got Droy and Joe next. Hopefully you're doing well, Droy and Joe. Hopefully you've been taking care of yourself. Had some really cool tracks today. So this is it. Joy and Joe. Put them up on the board. I feel like a lot of musicians can make really awesome music if they're brave enough to kind of, not in your situation because you're doing very well, but like musicians who are less experienced, I feel like they have to kind of take risks and kind of screw up things in order to feel safe enough to get to a point where their stuff is awesome a lot of the time. If that makes sense. Is this the right link? I've gotten this. I'm assuming it's this one, right? I went to the link Joy and Joe and it came up with that. I'm gonna go with this being the case. I could be wrong though. Let me know if I am, all right? Because the other link took me to like another thing. It took me to, what did it take me to? I'll just check what the link took me to. What was the name of the thing it took me to? If Bruce Lee shuffled cards. So yeah. It's okay. We got this one now. Set or Shed by Coloto. Let's do it. Oh, the way it kind of tickles your eardrums going up like that with that ascension. Oh, that drum kit though. How are they filtering these? They must be using some sort of plugin to like gate them, right? That's really interesting how they're doing that. Like there's reverse takes as well. It's kind of amazing as well, the dynamic range, how things will build from that point. And the drums as well. And the signaling that we're coming down, just stellar, dude. And that's it. That's Coloto. Coloto was seller. Sitter Sheed. Sitter Sheed. Sitter Sheed by Coloto. So what is a shed? What is a set or shed? What does that mean? You got shed, and I'm not trying to make fun. We've got shed, but we haven't got shed. So I'm not sure what a shed is, but either way, that's fine. What do we, what do we like about it? I mean, personally, for me, as Dr. Theo has mentioned, the sound palette is great. There are so many really interesting choices for actual instrumental textures and timbres within this piece. It's not just that we are comfortable creating really compelling melodies and harmonies here and interlacing them. It's that we choose sounds that are memorable and they kind of poke at you a little bit or they kind of stick at you a little bit. It's thoughtful because we could just have easily played it safe with like more traditional stuff. But if we go back a little bit further, it's that we also know that less is more. We structurally do not have everything at once. Things build over time. It continues to adjust in a way where we don't expect it to go up and have a bit more oomph. But then it happens again. It happens just enough times for us to expect it maybe to go up further, but then for the track to come back down because it's the end of the song. There's this really beautiful bell curve with the overall intensity of the track dynamically that is followed and adhered to here with the track starting off incredibly subtle with those held notes at the bottom. And you have these kind of clicked and kind of like melodic kind of plucked parts and just great individual ideas. Really cool elements where I feel like maybe the approach was potentially, I want everything to sound sort of good on its own, and then it should sound great together. But then we also finally, it's not just that we structurally have really interesting ideas there with the overall intensity of these pieces as well as how they're sequenced, but it's the actual production quality there. It's not just that we are really competent with EQing and filtering. We also do these reverse takes of things to make it sort of more dreamy-like and ethereal. We have chopped kind of gated parts there where it kind of turns, it's like a static thing into like an oscillating instrument. And it's just like the use of like acoustic drums alongside those more synthetic elements there is just a great, it just kind of grounds it out in a way which is really sort of orally pleasing. Orally pleasing. Oral? No, it does A-U-R-A-L. That one. I can't say it because of my accent, it's fine. But it's just it's just that we have clearly just thought so far ahead in regards to how we want it to sound together that we have this chord progression with 3 and then the last chord being a bit tense with like a flat 7, minor 7, flat 5 or something like that. It's that we have that repeated, but it's so interesting because of all the different iterations of it in the way that it's presented. So it's just incredibly charming. Absolutely no complaints about the song whatsoever. Really cool musical idea. Had a great time with it. And I thank Joy and Joe for putting this forward. I think it's a really unique piece there. And I honestly wouldn't mind hearing more from this musician in future. Whether they continue to do the same thing or different ideas, I'm not sure. But either way, it's totally fine. We have 3 in the queue, apparently. We have Dr. Theo again. So let's continue Dr. Theo after Joy and Joe's pick. And I'm glad that you found it funny, Donut G Pump. I assume it was about the oral thing. Apparently it still does not allow me to do that. That's fine. That's okay. I've had Americans ask me if I'm American. I know that's beside the point because of my accent, but for a while I'd literally have like strangers be like, "Hey, are you from this country?" And it's like, "Nope. I've been from Christ. You know, I've been from where I live, you know, for a long, long time. I haven't been born in the States." Okay. This is from Dr. Theo. It says, I expect you to die 3 intro. Hey, cog in the machine. Here we go. And then, yeah, expected to die 3 cog in the machine. There we go. Shell games. It looks interesting. Let's do it. Dr. Theo, let's go. Right, I should have a video up for this. This is the intro to a trilogy of VR escape the room games where you play as Agent Phoenix, a spy who goes on super dangerous missions to stop evil forces. In the third game, you go against someone who used to work for your company but betrays you to build a robot army. Fascinating. Oh, the strings.
You showed me the door while I'm breaking it down. Even you can ignore the new world that I found. Now I'm forging a fight, one I'm certain to win. All that's left is who's right and who pays for the sin.
Her vocal fry is phenomenal. Ooh, that run was tremendous.
You're the best of the best. Well, let's see if it's true. I'm less than impressed. I feel better than you. I've made you before. I can take you apart. I'll reach into your core and I'll rip out your heart. No backing down, no giving up. No more accepting, just good enough. I have a world to make.
They're phenomenal, dude.
Rules to break. I'll build a castle, I'm the queen. You're just a cog in my machine. Gears of change will glide in strange ways, tearing down the walls we made. Now for you, another form of control. Understand what I do. It's the work of the soul. No backing down, no giving up. No more accepting, just good enough. I have a world to make. Unbreakable rules to break. I'll build a castle, I'm the queen. Oh, you're just a cog in my machine.
Bro, that is a phenomenal intro track. Like, I love it. That was one of the best vocal performances I have heard in such a long time, dude. Like, that, just the power behind the voice, those pipes, the technique, the fry, those different runs, how effortless it was to go between our head and chest voice, our low and high ranges. And just the feeling and the oomph and the personality and the bit of vulnerability shown sometimes and just going full force. It's just the humanity of the performance is just tremendous. Apparently, Dr. Theo says, I like how she says you're just a cog in my machine, where the typical phrase is supposed to insult you for being a slave to the system, but this implies you're part of her plan. Damn, I imagine watching this in VR would be phenomenal. It's kind of got me interested just a little bit. I have to maybe wait a while to get one of those, but like that sounds cool. I'm glad that you get to I presume you've been enjoying the games in that series. It's awesome. So yeah, one of the things I really appreciated this track, I think it's about their sort of like view of the villains, the person who's gone rogue, their view of you as a person and you being a part of their machine, etc. They know who you are, they know how to break you, etc. They're in control, and going against them is just going to sort of like be a real rough time, you know. Um, the vocal performance sells it. Tremendous singer. But it's also the kind of the jazzy backing behind it, which makes it feel like this phenomenal drama, this theater, the stage show. I mean,
Giving up, no more accepting, just good enough. I have a world to make, unbreakable rules to break. I'll be the castle, I'm the queen.
exactly, yeah. You can see that you're captured inside that machine at that point, right? Like she puts the lid on and then suddenly you're within the world, right?
You're just a cog in my machine.
Yeah, no, it's very, very like being surrounded by that and that world would be very intense. I understand your position there. The second game is about going against a famous actor who worked for the evil Zaraxis, the antagonists of the first game. Dude, this seems like a good time. Honestly, might go check it out. Might go check it out. It's great they've got a trilogy, though. It's great they're able to do all three of them. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So sorry, I'm getting distracted. I think part of it is the orchestral backing, you know? Just to use those, the flurry of the woodwinds, the strings, etc., the brass with the bombastic nature of it when it needs to. The fact that it all goes away in the quieter parts. The very kind of somber, bluesy kind of like guitar arpeggios and stuff like that with the kind of the triplet feel there. What else have we got?
Forging a fire.
The kind of percussive, the orchestral drums there with a bit of extra suspense and drama to it as well.
Cog in my machine.
Like it's a quiet song within the mix, is more sort of cinematic than anything like that. But the use of the drum kit kind of backing up with a moment, kind of like things moving forward. It's just,
I've made you before. I can take you apart. I'll reach into your core.
but it's just again the vocal performance is the highlight of it. It's just that everything else instrumentally comes onto that. They all perform different functions. That sort of big band aesthetic there. It is a sad sounding song with a minor leaning there. It does kind of remind me of Skyfall, absolutely. It is very James Bond. Well, it makes sense because it's a super kind of like a spy sort of game, isn't it? It's like a spy game, so that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, it incorporates some sort of more sort of contemporary elements there to bring it into the 21st century, which I appreciate. And it's just the production quality before I move on as well. Simply because I feel that the way that the vocals are captured with the guitars, the bass, the drums, the brass, the woodwinds, the strings, and all the other elements there, the big drum, the orchestral drums, etc. The way they're captured is phenomenal. The performance is incredibly articulate. With just so much stuff to discuss that I couldn't go through it in the space of kind of a short form kind of feedback within it. But it's that it encompasses a sense of danger with the spy theme there, those scale choices there, making it more sort of like contemporary as well, the alt rock kind of feel to it. It includes so many different elements while sounding so clean from a production perspective. It's just magnificent. And as a game opener, it's incredibly effective. It shows a real sort of kind of like finish and polish to the overall experience. And I don't know how they could have possibly improved it. And then they finish like that. It's beautiful. Thank you, Dr. Theo. You've made me want to play this game there. But whoever sung that, they need a raise. Whoever sung that, they're just incredible, dude. It's that's probably my favorite song from today, I think. So what do we got next, though? We've got 5 track. Hang on, let me just. Commission's not completed. 4. So we got Zach next. Thank you to Zach for your request. Let's do this next one, eh? A Wolf in VR is really funny let's play series of these games. He has a good personality in editing. Good to know. I'll keep that in mind. It's been a while since I've... So do you guys watch let's plays much or nah? I used to watch them a lot when I was younger, but I don't have as much spare time now. I wish I had more spare time, but it's what it is, you know, it's all good. No dramas. So this is Zach's request, by the way. Oh, you're more of a funny moments kind of guy, like worst pre-made ever. That's cool. That's sick. That's all good. Well, we've got Skate Park with AJJ with their song Skate Park. Hey yo, this is a short and sweet song that made me feel nice driving to the skate park this morning. The band, formerly known as Andrew Jackson Jihad, is now known as AJJ and had some popularity in the early 2010s and are in a unique genre dubbed folk punk. Its cool sound and vocal style is certainly in a weird, off-putting area, but it adds to the punk sensibilities in my opinion, especially for the rest of the album. Let's go, let's do it. What do we have, Zach? Oh, the drums.
The skate park is only 15-minute songs away, and there's nothing I would rather do on this terrible fucking day than break my bones and feel the pain of self-improvement.
I kind of dig the vocal style, it's very blunt.
It's not your job to make everybody happy. You don't have to answer to anyone or anybody. Just stick to your guns and don't quit until you feel like changing them. And it's a sin and a shame to keep yourself from knowing the things that make you beautiful and complete. When we lie to ourselves, we can feel our insides rotting when the world could be bowing at our fate. At our fate. Stick to your gun and don't quit until you feel like changing them. Stick to your gun.
Great crowd chanting as well.
Feel like changing them. Stick to your gun and don't quit until you feel like changing them.
I kind of dig this song quite a lot. So this was AJJ with their song Skate Park, Zach's request. Now, what do we think this track is about? It's basically about initially talking about how we just want to, you know, we want to get up and we're having a terrible day and we just want to go to the skate park and just improve and do the best we can. And it's just accepting that all we want to do is just go and do that. And we don't want to sort of make everyone happy. We just sort of want to make the most of our life, and we're learning that we are denying ourselves the ability to be enough. It does feel very 2011, but I kind of adore it, Zach. I adore it. By the way, Blue Dinner Box says sometimes I just play them as background music when working. Same here at Blue Dinner Box. I actually used to play Let's Plays when I was working too. Like if I was like, when I was at my old cryptocurrency job back in the day, I would listen to Let's Plays whilst I worked. So that was cool. It is very 2011, to be fair. But I dig that. I like the positivity behind the message of just kind of like saying, look, even if we just got to do the best we can to get through this day, stick to your guns, you know, be kind to yourself, the world should be bowing at our feet. I dig that. It's a great attitude. I think that the vocal style sells it for me. Just the complete, just how done they sound. Just how done they sound with it. They are just done with trying to be whoever people need them to be. They are very much just kind of in your face. This is it. We don't need to put up with that shit. We are just gonna have a good day at the skate park. And just there is melody to it. There is musicality to it. When everyone kind of chants together, it's catchy and it's effective, and you can sort of like enjoy that and kind of vibe along with it. I feel like this is accessible to a wider audience primarily because even the vocal style is a bit weird and it's not as maybe sort of like aesthetically pleasing just because of the texture, like the kind of the way it's done. I think it's authentic for the genre. And I like that they have a nice uplifting spin on them. Exactly, Donachi Pimp. Stick to our guns. Absolutely. Absolutely. So the other thing I appreciate is how nice and short it is. They had a story, they came in, they told it, and they were out. That's all you need. You don't need to overcomplicate a performance. All we need is simply to communicate, create a pleasant experience or a kick-ass experience, and you're done. And you're done. You succeeded at music. And I like that there are longer songs in here where they clearly kind of like do more and they explore a bit more, but they're also able to explore shorter concepts in a way that's just catchy, engaging, and fulfilling. And I suppose finally, it's that they didn't overcomplicate or overpolish the production here. It sounds raw and rough around the edges, and I just think it needed to be that. You needed to have that room sound of the guitars, the bass, the drums, the vocals, the backings, etc. You needed it to sound real in order for the quote-unquote realness of the actual vocals to come through, the attitude there, the disdain for trying to be someone you're not and who you shouldn't need to be. I love it. It's very punk. I just think, I think it was wonderfully produced and recorded, very authentic for the genre. The vocals are fantastic, work well the story, and the instrumental parts were great as well. It's just the structure was great with a really solid instrumental performance as well. Especially some of those drum parts. Some of those drum parts were absolutely berserk. Like that first, the third fill or whatever of this track with the double case, blah, 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 blah. It's just wild stuff, man. It's just wild stuff. So thank you, Theo, for that. Zach, thank you, Zach, for that. Sorry, Zach. I'm sleepy. I'm sleepy. But yeah, that was Zach's pick for today. Dr. Theo had the previous one. That was I Expect You to Die. Cool. Cheers. That was awesome. I want to listen to more AJJ in my own time, I think. If not through here. But either way, it's cool. We have 3 tracks in the queue, though. What do we have next? Well, we have Dinner Hay next. Sleepy Joe has osteoporosis that can't pull the trigger. That's why he hates Second Amendment. I'm just going to nod. I'm just going to go along with it, I think. It's a really, yeah, just wanted to share. Forgot about this band. Glad you liked. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that, Zach. No, they're really cool. They're really cool. I genuinely appreciate it. I just don't get access to these bands. I don't go out of my way to I don't know if it's the same for you, but I don't go out of my way to listen to music because I just usually get sent it. and so my brain just doesn't think, hey, I need even more new music than this. But so when it's new music and it's awesome, I enjoy it a lot. Now this is Taylor Swift with their track Willow from Dinner Hay. Thank you, Dinner Hay, for this. I look forward to checking out more Taylor Swift. I'm still figuring out if I like Taylor Swift's music. I realize that that's not necessarily a controversial statement, which is kind of the point. But I don't, because we'll find out. This is Willow. Here we go. It's musically sound for sure.
I'm like the water when your ship rolled in that night. Rough on the surface, but you cut through like a knife.
I like this track musically, instrumentally.
If it was an open shut case, I never would have known from the look on your face. Lost in your current like a priceless wine. The more that you say, the less I know. Wherever you stray, I follow. I'm begging for you to take my hand, wreck my plans. That's my man. Life was a willow and it bent like
We're really keen to go to the next thing.
head on the pillow, I could feel you sneaking in. As if you were a mythical thing, like you were a trophy or a champion ring. And there was one prize I'd cheat to win. The more that you say, the less I know. Wherever you stray, I follow. I'm begging for you to take my hand, wreck my plans. That's my Strand.
Oh, okay.
Wait for the signal and I'll meet you after dark. Show me the places where the others gave you scars. Now there's
That little call and response with the do 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 dum. I dig that on the guitar. It's a fun
an
idea.
open shut case. I guess I should have known from the look on your face. Every bit and switch was a work of art. The more that you say, the less I know. Wherever you stray, I follow. I'm begging for you to take my hand, wreck my plans. That's my man. You know that my train could take you home. Anywhere else is hollow. I'm begging for you to take my hand, wreck my plans. That's my man. The more that you say, the less I know. Wherever you stray, I follow. Begging for you to take my hand, wreck my plans. That's my man. You know that my train can take you home. Anywhere else is hollow. Begging for you to take my hand, wreck my plans. That's my man. Hey, that's my man. Yeah, that's my man. Yeah, that's my man. Every bait and switch was a work of art. That's my man. Hey, that's my man. Begging for you to take my hand, wreck my plans. That's my man.
Okay, so that was Willow from Taylor Swift. Thank you to Dinahe for that request. What do we think this track is about? I think it's about Taylor wanting a guy to take her away and kind of like lead her astray. It seems like it's like a forbidden love, something they're not necessarily meant to get involved with. They talk about cheating. I'm wondering if there's like forbidden relationships, like they're already in one and maybe they're kind of like getting their plans wrecked. It's about the one person they couldn't have. I don't see any problem disliking her music, but I do hate personal attacks towards her. Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. I think that there is enough nastiness in the world without just hating people because they make music. If it's about the music specifically, you know. It's tricky because you've got to like, just real quick, you got to like balance people's rights to have an opinion with the harm that it causes in certain situations. That's a tricky thing, but I don't think anyone should be getting hurt. So I vibe with you on that, Blue Dinner Box. So I think one of the things I appreciate about this track is kind of just how kind of clean it is. We clearly have this is the verse section, this is the chorus, this is an interlude, this is a different thing, this is the ABC kind of structure here, which Taylor Swift here does to a T. It's tremendously methodical and I think a positive way. If you're expecting a wide variety of different adjustments or any sort of like progressive elements here, it's not the genre really for it in most situations. And I think that here we are trying to combine really interesting combinations of different instruments with a more kind of composed, comfortable vocal performance within a medium that Taylor Swift is very, very comfortable in. I think that additional to that, Taylor Swift's performance here is great. Like her vocals, she has a wide variety of different vocal styles and techniques here. Well, not a wide variety. It's more like it's her style, but like she's comfortable in different parts of her range. And there's like spoken parts. There are sort of like spoken sung parts. There are cleaner kind of like upper part vocals. There's some very sort of like soft parts there. Some really interesting tails with kind of flutter there, which is really pretty. Like there are cool melodic ideas and harmonies here that work incredibly well and sell the song in a way that is positive. I think that that's really good. And so yeah, that it's unsurprising considering her like that's the problem about her music lately. Sounds repetitive and boring sometimes. Yeah, I think for me, I say this cautiously. I think that we could have potentially have had at least one point where there wasn't straight into the next part with the song. I think we could have had like little bits of break. But like, I feel like we're trying to get that 3.5 minutes I kind of like, it's tricky because I think that's the problem, is that people get offensive when they don't know how to formulate more measured responses to what they're hearing or thinking. It can be easier just to talk smack than it can to try and philosophize or kind of like extend upon why you think that way. And that's not me trying to be all kind of like, oh, you know, big brain moment or whatever. It's just that you'll find that if people do have more time to think on stuff they said in the heat of the moment, for example, they will regret it. I feel like a lot of internet discourse is just instant gratification, wanted to kind of spit. And that's a valid, I think that here there could have been a bit more sort of structural diversity. But I still think that for what we're used to from Taylor Swift, it works fine. I think that the production quality as well is sincere. But I think the thing I wanted to speak about before we move on, it's just the really beautiful kind of upper kind of like really soft keys or like lead parts on top that are kind of go in time with Taylor. It's the cool guitar riffs on the side with the lead parts there. We arpeggiate and play little riffs and we kind of do cool responses. It's like, it's a really subtle drum kit in the bottom where we don't ever go too heavy with it. It's mostly sort of like kicks a lot of the time in those sort of like more low key sections there. It has interesting 8th and 16th note grooves. I think that what we do well is we establish an atmosphere, a concept for Taylor to kind of create a world in, and she just has to do her thing, and she's good. She's earned another round of royalties, and it's fantastic, and that's, you know, it's good on her, man. Donut G Pump says, Taylor Swift is our national treasure. We love Taylor Swift. It's the demon cats wreck the plan and ignites the hate. It's the man who can't stand steadily who lets everything fall. Thank you, Donut G Pump, for your valuable insight. I appreciate knowing how much you love Taylor Swift. I did like this song, though. Again, apart from wanting an occasional break, I do think that Taylor did very well here. It's just, it's like, kind of like when I used to do the Jay Chow stuff. It'd be, I'm so spoiled for a lot of really practically competent music that I would want an X Factor kind of situation where that came less often. And occasionally people would be upset with me because I just didn't unconditionally love everything. But it's that you're kind of not looking to go from like a 6 to an 8. You're looking to go from an 8 to a 9, if that makes sense. I think we're doing pretty well for time, by the way, ladies and gents. Yeah, I think we've got 2 more tracks, if I'm not mistaken. So we've got the next request from Westchester Espo. Sup, Westchester? Hopefully you're well. Hopefully you're having a good day today and things have been going well for you. Here we go. What have we got here? Hang on, I'll put this here. Sup, Hot Sus? How you doing? Welcome to the live stream. I like the cat as your profile picture. I think that's a cute little cat. I would have Nushka as mine, but I have my business YouTube, so it'd be a little bit kind of like confusing maybe. Okay, so this one is titled Period Queen. I'm not sure what we've gotten ourselves into here. Just letting us know this may be inappropriate for some users. So with that in mind, we shall listen to this track from Hot Sus 233 titled Period Queen and see how we go. I like the clicking and the piano.
She was flicking the beat, and and then she had to get clean. I told her, period queen, go to the shower and get.
With all the love in the world, I think we're in for a ride. Now, for context, Westchester is one of the people I have done reviews for probably the longest. Like when I started doing music reviews, I reviewed Westchester's music right around when I started out, and I've reviewed a lot of music for Westchester. And I think it would just be really good to we're going to listen through it and we're going to just have a talk about it afterwards, and we'll see how we go.
Get clean. She said, period queen. She said, period queen. She said, period queen. Why you acting like a golden girl when you know you're just a yeah, period queen.
But we're having fun with it, and I dig it.
Queen, period queen. You know that you're just a you should be sharing your pics online, but you don't know. Remember when her photos leaked? Yeah, remember when her photos leaked? Everybody seen her being, yeah. Even I seen it.
Exactly, period queen. Thank you, Zach.
Everybody seen her being.
It's not for kids. Definitely not for kids.
Period queen. Period queen. Do you know? All your photos leaked. All your photos leaked. Do you remember when her photos leaked? And her videos too. Everybody seen her be period queen, period queen, yeah. Period queen, period queen, yeah. You ain't gonna slay no more. Ain't gonna slay in my neighborhood no more. If
I do like the honky tonk piano as well.
I walk past your daddy's.
Hang on. What is that backing part?
Backs my ass. Your dad put his hands on me, now I'm gonna charge him. Period queen. Gonna charge your dad tonight.
What is that backing part?
Yeah. Remember when your photos leaked? Yeah. Remember when your photos leaked? I remember when everybody saw your being. Period queen. Period queen. Period. You on your period queen. Once a month I'm gonna slay. Go to the shower and get clean. Are you still thinking you're clean? Come on, you ain't no golden girl, you're just a now get clean and change into some clean jeans and lay under the sheets. Stop acting like a golden girl when you know you're just a period queen. Yeah, period queen. Don't you understand? Everybody has seen your being. Your being. Remember when your photos leaked? Yeah, everybody was sharing it for a week. Even your family seen it. For real.
Did they just say I am the one in the background?
For real, you know They sing that, yeah, that, yeah. It's so fat, it's fat like my cat. Yo, biggity baseball bat, you know that it's fat. Yo, it's fat like my cat, like the cat in the hat. Yo, I just shat my jeans. Period, queen.
I think what I want to say first of all, I think we were having fun. I think that this was a fun song. I dig it. I think I could hear Hot Sus 233 and someone else potentially singing along to it and having fun. It is a song about, I think, someone on their period doing the deed, having to have a shower afterwards, and about photos, lewd photos being shared around, and the cat in the hat. And I think that for what it is, with that kind of subject matter, it works genuinely. It actually kind of, I kind of liked the energy behind it, the way that it was sung, the phrasing of it, the kind of the celebration of the concept over top of the honky tonk piano with the bluesy parts there. And it's like, how do I describe it? I think if we had been, the way that we deliver a song like this is very important. Because sometimes I have musicians that send through songs. And if I know that this is their like magnum opus, and they want me to take it incredibly seriously, and it's a very kind of dire affair, and if it was the exact same subject matter and the exact same kind of theme or something like that, it would be a different experience to where I hear this and I go, they're trying to create a fun concept that they're having a good time with, and musically speaking, it works. It is not the most virtuosic vocal performance. I think we are kind of riffing on top of the motif in the background in a way which for the most part makes harmonic sense. Rhythmically, it is sound for a lot of it as well, and I think that that's really good. It is a longer piece. We did get extensions we did get bits of additional context as we went through. I think that if we had the track longer, it might have been a little bit too much of it. But I also feel like we were very comfortable with our theme, and we simply wanted to really sort of like kind of get that home and be comfortable with it. Zach says some ragtime performer in the 20s singing this. I think that we would both be either pleasantly or unpleasantly surprised with the amount of smut that went around in that time period. It was not just the Great Depression in the 20s. There was the part before it. And it was, there was some real crazy stuff that happened. But I think for the subject matter being delivered in a way where I think expression-wise is appropriate, I think the actual piano playing was great. I like the riffing of stuff in the background. Yeah. I think it would be I think that, and I just think that in terms of, like, I'm familiar with Westchester's work as well. So I feel like this is one of the better tracks that I've heard from them. So Westchester, if you're watching this, or Hot Sus 233, thank you for sending this through. I genuinely appreciate it. It's good to hear more music like this. Well, exactly. It's fun. That's what that's what I mean. It's fun. That's what I mean. I mean, you look at like music. Yeah, exactly. I review this differently with the understanding that that is the intent. And as long as I am able to ascertain that that is the direction we're going in with it, I feel that is a success in my book. If I had been unable to discern that that was the direction we were going in, that would be a bit more kind of difficult, but that's not the case. So thank you for sharing it, and I'm glad to hear. Are things going okay for you at the moment? Is life treating you well? Hopefully it is. Thank you for that request, though. We have one more request, though, from Donut G Pump. What on earth has Donut G Pump put forward for us? If it's the American anthem, if it's the national anthem, I'm gonna be just honestly impressed with the commitment to the meme at that point. I just don't know what we're in for. We're gonna find out. Donald Trump versus Joe Biden rap battle. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go. Let us appreciate the musicality of it. I'm excited for this. Let's go. Good way to finish the stream. So I'm going to put here. The queue is closed now. We are unable to take any more queues. Thank you to all your requests so far. This will be the last song for today. Let's go. Where did I put it? Right here it is. What do we got?
It's your boy Barry, aka Big O, and I'm the host and the judge of today's rap battle between Trump the Don and my good friend Biden.
Hey Biden, I know it's on that laptop hiding. You can fool your voters, but half the country, they know you're lying. I'll never go to jail, the DA keep on trying. All the billions you supplying to Ukraine, people dying. You got blood on your hands, what your puppet masters do. They're coming after me, they should be coming after you. But we know the whole swamp is evil, and that's the truth. You can go and ask Julian Assange for the proof. You said black people who don't vote for you are not black. You locked up tons in the 80s for some crack. A crisis at your border, and of course you turned your back. What happened to forgiving college loans? Come on, Jack. You said you don't support gays a decade ago. Career politicians will say anything for your vote. At press conferences, you're reading what somebody else wrote. You're controlled by BlackRock and Vanguard like Trudeau. Your wife is not a doctor, but she says she is. Why, Joe? Hey, Joe, who wrote the 94 crime bill? Here's to the most famous president. 3 cheers. Your daughter said you showered with her well into her teen years. You said Obama was the first well-groomed black man. You eulogized Robert Byrd. Please give up the act, man. Messing with me, you messed up big time. Oh, I can't forget 10% to the big guy. Good luck, Joe. Good luck beating that creepy Joe, sleepy Joe. Can't wait to see what you got.
Hey, Trump, my legs and the kids, they would rub the hair, and Corn Pop was a bad dude. This is my wife, and this is my sister.
I thought it was going to actually be both. I thought it was going to be like a both.
Sir. Hey, how did I get here? What's going on? Ronald Trump. Who am I battling? If you're not black, then you don't vote for me. If you don't vote for me, you're not black. Hey, Pop was a bad dude. Why'd you sit? Fight? Come on, man. This is my sister. Hey, how did I get here?
Well, Joe, that was pretty special. Let us know in the comments down below who you think won the rap battle and who you'd like to see next.
If you're not black, then you don't vote.
Okay. So my understanding of this rap battle is that it's meant to sort of suggest that Donald Trump is mentally capable and has all this stuff on Joe Biden. And Joe Biden just was not able to handle the rap battle. And Obama was kind of refereeing them. That's what the track was about. I initially went into it thinking it would be a rap battle between the two, and I thought, hey, that's kind of a cool idea, having both of them kind of say things about each other, and then having a constructive kind of, hey, these people are both done stupid stuff kind of situation. But that was not that. Yeah. So what did I like about the track? If I remove the subject matter, I think that the actual, like, the way that it was coded with the AI rhythm wise was really interesting. The way that we are able to program and get the various differences in the inflection and stuff like that with the voicings to make it seem not completely realistic, but far more realistic than AI has been over the past few years, is really kind of, it's kind of impressive that they managed to pull that off. They wrote the song for me, so I won. I paid them a lot. Man, I don't remember any election being like this controversial, right? Without getting into it. It's just like, just thinking back on it, I don't remember having a similar experience in my lifetime as this. I suppose it depends on where you are, where you live, etc. Here in New Zealand is relatively sheltered from that. So this has been a big thing for us to deal with, I suppose. And we don't even live there. You know, we don't. Anyways, I just want to sort of show that despite, you know, like, I appreciate the work that went into actually kind of coding and getting the AI to do what it needed to do. I think if we look through the actual beat itself, the harp, the arpeggio, the melody in the background there, that kind of worked in 16th was an interesting sort of like ground bed for stuff. And I dig the kind of the minor feel to it, because this isn't meant to be a feel good situation. It's two people battling each other, mixed in with those hip hop drums, the snare kick patterns there, the cymbals, etc. The polish on the beats there, with a sense of sort of, I suppose, swagger to it because of the way they kind of float with the flow of the rapping as well is tight. And I think that the bass line underneath is nice and measured there. And there's like extra parts if we go through it.
They would rub the hair.
And like you've got the kind of the oscillating reverb in the background of some bits there, maybe in this part, but like overall, it's like, how do I describe it? It's like a kind of, it's like it's underwater, almost like it's kind of illustrates stuff they're talking about at that point in time.
Like Black Rock and Vanguard, like Trudeau.
But yeah, no, that 808 is well balanced. And it just the fact that it was like, I suppose even regardless of the subject matter, the way that they structured it, with one verse being wildly different from the other, especially if you're into that side of the field, I understand why they did it. You know, if you're into that kind of stuff, it makes sense. The production is pretty good in general, as well as a final note. It's more just, you can tell that it's AI because there's like a kind of a weird kind of filtering on the voice because of the way they have to treat the words and everything like that. It's not quite as clear as like a person actually saying it. But I don't think you'd be able to get either of these people doing this in real life. So that's my review of that track, Donald Trump versus Joe Biden rap battle. It was a plot twist. Otherwise, I wouldn't win the battle against Sleepy Joe. Well, thank you, Donut G Pump, for your request. We did have a good run, Dr. Theo. It was a good run, man. Look, guys, that's basically my requests for today, though. This is the conclusion section that we have now. We listened through tracks today from Jacob, Dr. Theo, Katana Protector, Droy and Joe, Dr. Theo again, Zach, Dinnerhay, Westchester, Donald G Pump. Lots of cool songs that we listened to, so thank you to all of you who put through requests, and even if you didn't, it's totally fine. I know we had a bit of story time as well, kind of working stuff out with like the house stuff earlier and stuff like that, but I'm thankful we got to listen to some really cool music. Thanks for being a part of this live stream. I will be back next week as far as I'm aware. I don't think there's anything that's stopping me, but I'll let you know if that's the case. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic weekend. Stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I will catch you all in the next live stream. Have fun, stay cool. Spiderhands out. 3, 2, 1. Boop.